Hey y'all, welcome to the studio. I am so excited to share how I brought this beautiful thrifted gallery wall to life. I'm gonna be sharing my DIY design process, taking you all the way from the concept stage to the finished project and all of the fails and multiple drafts along the way. So if you've got a blank wall that you are hoping to transform, keep watching because this video is packed with tips and inspiration for your next project. I decided to make this wall a focal point in my space. I live in a very open concept, kind of studio vibe. So I really wanted this part of the space to really anchor the room. When you're designing a new space, I definitely recommend you consider how it's going to relate to the other areas it's open to. And bringing in that cohesion with the color palette is really key. Now, when we started this project, this space went through many iterations before we got to this point. At one point, there was going to be like a faux plant installation in the opening. One point, my husband decided to paint it lime green. And actually, we went through a lot. That's a whole different video to talk about designing with a partner. But the green was a good starting point. It just wasn't, it didn't have the right resonance that we needed for this space. It was kind of competing with the other things we had already kind of established. Something that can help with this is defining your color palette up front. I definitely feel like if we had really made a deliberate color palette, it would have helped us and minimize the trial and error, but that's kind of on brand for me to just figure it out as I go. So, but if you're creating just to save yourself a little bit of time and maybe hassle, creating that color palette where you have a few colors that are kind of your main staples that are going to be prominent in your space, and then having those little accent colors.
I like to pick 3 primary colors that are going to shine in my space. I might apply it to an accent wall or a statement furniture piece, or it might just be a color that's woven throughout every space. Then I pick a few complementary colors that help tie the entire color palette together, as well as a few fun pops for that dose of decor dopamine. Keep in mind how your color palette will relate to the materials in your space. If you have cool concrete floors but want your space to feel warm, you'll want to offset that with warmer tones in your color palette.
Now that you've defined your color palette and figured out how this space is going to relate to the other areas surrounding it, you want to start gathering your inspo. This is personally my favorite part, having an excuse to scroll on Pinterest for hours. I personally like to gather more inspiration than I need, and then I can kind of edit and cull it down from there.
When I start gathering my inspiration, at first I'm just looking for general design, aesthetic inspiration, any and everything that will spark my creativity. From there, I look to set design. I love finding spaces that feel storied and lived in and not perfectly curated. Then I might look for examples of a specific design concept, like a geometric floor that's a little bit quirky or a thrifted gallery wall. Space planning can be tricky, so I might also look for layout examples to help create a perfect flow in my space. And I'm always looking for new ideas to create that warm atmosphere in a space through their use of texture and lighting design.
Now that you have defined your inspiration, you've got kind of a good idea of the direction you want to go in, you want to start mocking things up.
I love using Spoak to design my mock-ups because they have so many amazing features. You can choose from a range of their backgrounds, or you can insert a photo of your blank wall and start transforming your dream space. Spoak allows you to remove backgrounds, and you can even change the perspective of an image, so if you want a rug to look like it's actually laying flat on the ground. And they have a range of furniture and decor items you can add to your design and shop directly from the app. This is the time to try multiple options before you spend money on any materials or time with that trial and error. Now it's time to shop for your project. I wanted to share a few of the keywords that I use to help make your project go a little bit smoother. You can use these whether you're searching on Google, online thrift stores, Facebook Marketplace, or Etsy to find those unique pieces for your space. I'll never stop talking about the Pinterest lens tool because you can literally add a photo from your camera roll or snap something you see in the store and find products exactly like it, and this will help you save so much money at the thrift store because look, I bought this for like $20. I made a list of all of the places I tend to look for inspiration for DIY projects, where I shop, and how I find my unique finds. The little cactus is the Pond online store, super quirky. Yaoi is a Black-owned brand that I am obsessed with, highly recommend them. I'm always looking for unique pieces that inspire me to create, so I started curating this retro, eclectic, vintage shopping guide. So if you're shopping for your space or you just need a little dopamine boost, I've linked everything below. And if you still want more inspo for your project, I'll link my Pinterest boards below. I hate the orange peel texture with a passion, so I was determined to find a solution to this peel and stick wallpaper issue. I use removable double-sided tape to secure my peel and stick wallpaper at the top and at the bottom. It hasn't been a perfect solution, but to me it looks way better than white textured walls. I'm a huge supporter of thrifted frames. Save those coins and it will give you that eclectic vibe that you're looking for in your space. When you're at the thrift store, you want to make sure you check the backing of each frame. Make sure that it's not one of those paper backs that you can't remove or that it's not broken in any way, because it will be such a hassle later on.
Through our design differences to get here. I love that his favorite movies get to be highlighted in the focal point of our space, because I will not lie, a lot of the design choices were like me coming to him with an idea and him being like, oh yeah, that's cool, babe, and being really supportive. I feel like it shows how much beauty can come when you allow space for that curiosity, that collaboration, and that's something I'm gonna keep carrying into not just creating, but in life in general. I'm just grateful y'all are here hanging out with me. It means so much that you would watch this video and support a brand new channel just starting out. It is very encouraging because it's really tough starting out from scratch. So I just really appreciate you taking the time to hang with me. And I hope it inspires you to make yourself something nice, because you deserve it. See you next time.